Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again here to Virtual Racing Network. We have a great race in store for you here at Lernerville. Again, we have a special guest in here. We're going to introduce him in just a minute as we pull the countdown to qualifying up on the screen. 4.5 minutes is what we have left. We first and foremost want to thank everybody for tuning in here. Late broadcast here tonight for the World of Thunder Racing League. But we're not going to go any further. Let's get the second chair, our co-captain, co-pilot, whatever you want to call him here tonight. That is, of course, Nick Rusty Robbins. So, Nick, welcome back to the booth. It's been, let's see, 1, 2, 3, a long time.
Yeah, Charles, thanks so much for having me back again, man. It has been a very long time since I've been back in the seat here, but at the comfort of my own office space, shall we call it. But it's really cool to be back behind the microphone with you one more time for a World of Thunder race. Not only is it going to be a great race tonight, but iRacing has had some pretty major updates since I've been back behind the mic. Namely 2 new racetracks, and this is my first night to the Sarver, Pennsylvania Speed Plant, Don Martin's Lernerville Speedway. Really excited to see this new 4/10 mile oval with the World of Thunder wingless 360 sprint cars. It's going to be a great show tonight. We've got about 20 cars signed in for action. Man, it looks like a good group here.
It definitely does look like a good group, and I'm not seeing too many on the track. I believe they're in the midst of a drivers' meeting here at the moment, but some drivers to point out here that we know from past races. Wade Lamar, I expect to see some good action from him. I'm thinking, if that's the right name, he's one of the TSR boys from Tony Stewart Racing. I could be wrong. We'll have to check on that on the car. If he is, I'm sure you'll see it. Of course, everybody out there knows Dustin Sizemore with his infamous hashtag Sizemore's fault.
Oh, it's definitely Sizemore's fault, no doubt.
Definitely is. And then, of course, we have Brett Fair in here that I've seen quite a bit lately. And, of course, the one and only Scott Bargloff. We'll be rooting for him to make it, of course, not trying to be biased, but he is one of our own.
I see that he's disconnected. I'm gonna have to send him a message here and get him back in this race because I want to see what he's got. Bargloff's not too bad behind the wheel of a Wing 360 sprint car, that's for sure. But would love to see him join us here this evening. Well, like I said, about 20 cars signed in for competition. I got to tell you, man, these wingless sprint cars are a handful, no doubt about it. And this racetrack, Charles, an interesting thing here for both of the tracks that are new to iRacing. There's no wall around the outside on the back straightaway and either set of corners, so that new element of danger, if you will, added into this thing. There's a chance we might see somebody flying off the backside here tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, I've been on this track a handful of times already myself. And, you talk about dangers on the track. What about off the track as well? Primarily coming onto the track with that little guardrail there, I swear it has got to be, at least for me, one of the hardest entrances on iRacing, because this is also the only track that you enter from off the racing surface. So you're not in the infield, and that can be a little tricky getting on there. It kind of has like a little jump.
Yeah, I noticed coming over the embankment there, like you said, this is the only track we enter in from off the speedway. That's another pretty cool little tidbit there. I like the way that they've got that going. I think it's pretty cool. It's a little more realistic, entering from outside of the actual racing surface. So I think it's going to be something interesting to watch. And it does make even entering the racetrack is a little bit more treacherous than any other surface that we see throughout iRacing.
It definitely does. The cool thing, too, about this track is we can get to Victory Lane. Some of the tracks do have that, so I would expect our winner to go there in the event that they do win the race. Obviously, somebody has to. Like I said, this track's all sorts, and obviously for you to come back for your first race, you come back here after a little hiatus and get to come to one of the newest tracks on iRacing. You can't ask for much more, I don't think.
No, it's really cool, and these wingless sprint cars, like I said, they're definitely a handful. But that just means that the action is going to be pretty much nonstop, as it looks like practice about to come to a close here. and we should be getting ready for some qualifying in just a moment. But yeah, like I said, with a brand new racetrack and these absolutely phenomenal USAC wingless sprint cars, this is going to be a great race, and I'm very excited for this to be my first time back in quite a while, like you said, from a little hiatus there. So good to be back behind the microphone, and always a great time to take part in one of these Virtual Racing Network broadcasts, man. And once again, just thanks for having me out.
Well, it's definitely good to have you. Of course, it makes less work on me having to talk half as much. And so we're going to jump over to the track here for these drivers. And we'll go ahead and bring up the qualifying bar. Qualifying is going to happen very fast. You're talking, I believe, like 15-second laps. So they're going to happen. That's 4 laps a minute here. With qualifying, I believe, going to be about 2 laps or so. Yeah, it's going to go by very, very quickly here at Lernerville.
I think it's going to be a very interesting race. Like I said, just the fact that there's no wall around the outside, and like you said, these cars are absolutely going to fly around this place. Yeah, we're looking at right now a quick time in the high 14-second bracket. Looks like right now that spot being held by Chance Sikowski at a 14.818 second elapsed time, and that's more than 4 laps a minute at that pace. A great pace being set by Chance right now. Not too far back. In fact, 1/10 of a second is James Tiernan in the 98 machine with a 14.916 second elapsed time. Charles, that's pretty impressive timing already here. I wouldn't have expected anything different from these race cars, though, man.
Yeah, definitely with you. There's Mitch Stiles going to take second fastest, and I was going to see if indeed Wade Lamar had TSR on the side of there, but unfortunately he decided to go off the end of the track full speed, so won't get a chance to check till heat racing does begin, and that's actually going to do it for qualifying. As it looks like we are going to have 2 heat races, and we will move straight on to the feature. Again, we do want to point out this is a brand new series here, not a brand new league, but we don't know exactly how many laps the feature is. We're guessing with the 30. It wasn't on the schedule, so we'll let you know as we find out. But 30 laps, 40 laps, however many, I think it's going to be some really good racing.
Going to be some very good racing, no doubt, and we're going to roll out heat race number 1 here for the World of Thunder wingless sprint cars here at Lernerville Speedway. Looks like on the inside of that front row there, Charles, going to be Chance Sikowski in the 019 alongside the 98 of James Tiernan.
And we talk about Wade Lamar starting a second row, all the way Dustin Griffiths on his outside. And after that, we'll just go quickly through them. It's going to be Kyle Atkinson, I believe. Alex, I'm not even going to pronounce that. We're just going to call him Alex.
Looks like Stoutinger there.
Stoutinger, we'll go with that. Clifford Driscoll, Trev Jacob, and Scott Barkov not going to make it, but Brandon Steele does. And we were kind of in an overview there to show you just how kind of skinny that entrance is. It looks like it would be a lot wider, but 2 of these cars barely fit through it.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely real skinny coming through there, and that even is another thing you got to really be careful for, because these cars don't like to drive straight. It's really difficult to get over that hump, and you got to stay off your neighbor. It looks like we might already be coming to a green flag here, Charles. Maybe not. Maybe one more time around.
Looks like they are going to give him one more. The pace car, I don't see it, but then again, can't see in front of these guys. Yes, pace car is still on the track, but they are trailing the pace car by quite a bit, which is interesting here that they're staying that far back from it.
Looks like Sikowski here on the inside, and that beautiful 019 machine going to bring him around. Like you said, Charles, they are way behind the pace car there, maybe giving themselves plenty of room. Don't want to cause anything right here on the first lap, and that's definitely a good start there. The green flag is out, and Sikowski going to lead us down into turn number 1, followed closely by Tiernan in the 98 machine.
And I'm not sure who that was back in the back. We did have a couple of cars getting into the outside wall there on the front stretch, but they keep it going. Again, right here is about the only spot you can get into the wall. Other than this, it is all dirt all the way, and they are seriously getting mixed together back here in about fourth place. Driscoll, Stouninger, and Steele, all three right here together, bumping and beating and banging, throwing a little dirt as well.
Looks like Atkinson leaving the racing surface there off the back of turn number 3. We got a good battle shaping up for the lead as James Tiernan looks to the inside of Chance Sikowski for the top spot. It's going to be 3 laps down. Your leader tags the wall on the front straightaway. The top 2 cars get together. Tiernan going to make the move on the inside of turn number 1, Charles, and that is what makes Lernerville Speedway so exciting.
And just like that, you can lose the lead. You got to be extra careful. And it looks like now the 7 is also getting into that inside a little bit. Maybe a little flustered after getting into that outside wall, losing the lead. You've got to maintain composure here and just regroup and try to get that lead back. But right now, like you said, Tiernan is out front, and he is set to win this thing as we only have 5 laps left to go.
Yeah, you can definitely see that Sikowski a little bit frustrated there after tagging that front stretch wall. It may have hurt the car just a little bit there, Charles, but Tiernan, nonetheless, your race leader right now out in front by about almost 0.8 of a second. But you can see Sikowski really fought that car for a couple of laps. Going to be coming to 7 laps complete this time around. Should be the white flag in the air, I do believe, this time by 4. James Tiernan out in front, Sikowski in second. Lamar right now got his hands full for third. That's Clifford Driscoll side by side down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Driscoll on the bottom. Looks like Tiernan gonna take that top spot. Sikowski. Oh, it is 10 laps. My mistake. We got 2 laps to go. That is my bad, man. I am rusty. It's been a while since I've been here. Good to be back. Looks like the white flag going to be out this time by Charles. We got a heck of a battle shaping up for that 3rd spot.
It is. Lamar always fast no matter where he goes, and I thought he might have been a TSR driver, but I'm not thinking he is now, unless that is a TSR logo very small on the thing. It's not on the wing, but like you said, a good battle going out, but the checker flag is waving. Your race winner is going to go to James Tiernan in a heat race number 1. Only 2 heat races here tonight. Not a huge field, but a good amount here. You know, you think about a local racetrack in real life, this would be a decent car count for one class.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Almost, you're gonna get me on the soapbox. You start talking about that kind of stuff. I almost hate to admit it, but yeah, 20 cars in a class nowadays. That's happens less often than I care to talk about. But nonetheless, 20 cars. Good field here for the wingless sprint cars. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter program tonight, but the racing, nonetheless, going to be some of the best you see all night long, unless you're watching a whole bunch of different races as well. So some good racing there in heat race number 1. Charles, who we got here for the next one?
Well, someone I'm used to seeing on a row 1 is going to be Mitch Stiles. I look to see good things from him here in this race. Billy Rowley, I believe I think it's Raleigh. He does have a fan in chat, Jason Deere, out there cheering him on. Dalton England, not seen him before, so we'll be checking him out. Brent Fair, we're used to seeing him quite a bit. Trey Smith, another really good driver. James Grace, another one that we're used to seeing. Dustin Sizemore, of course, hashtag Sizemore's fault. And Miles Jansen, it looks like Mason Hannigan not going to make the call here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have 8 of them out of the scheduled 9. And one I'm going to be keeping my eyes on for sure, going to be that number 12 machine of Trey Schmidt. Trey, of course, a real-life sprint car driver in the out of the Houston, Texas area, I should say, and always one to watch when the 12 machine takes to the racetrack. Trey going to be actually in competition later this season at South Texas Speedway when we host the Southern United Sprint Car Series, 305 wing sprint cars right now, though, Charles. We're getting ready to go heat racing here. Heat race number 2 underway off of turn number 4.
And I'm wondering, I can't recall. I may have seen Trey run. I'm not sure if he's run up at Monarch or Red River in the past, but he does indeed have a TSR logo on there for Tony Stewart Racing on the hood of that car.
That is entirely possible, man. Trey travels all across the state of Texas and indeed some other states as well. And out front already after one lap, your pole sitter Mitch Stiles drops all the way back to fifth spot. Trey Schmidt, your leader off the bottom of turn number 4. 2 laps complete here already in heat race number 2. Charles, the racetrack slowing down a little bit, but not really much to speak of. Looks like 15:2:93, the best lap for your race leader right now. Dustin Sizemore, though, there in second. He's got his hands full with Bill Raleigh in the 79 machine. Raleigh going to get by for second. Sizemore back to third.
Yeah, definitely. Sizemore's been off iRacing for quite some time. Definitely showing he is not rusty. He almost gets to the back right rear of that 79 machine. Sorry, left rear, I should say. But is able to keep it clean off of him. But that battle for second between Sizemore and Raleigh definitely is getting hot, and they make contact.
Yep, definitely some contact there between Sizemore and Raleigh, and I guarantee you that someone's going to throw that hashtag up, hashtag Sizemore's fault. I don't think it was a dirty slider, just wasn't quite as clear as Dustin maybe thought he was. Nonetheless, a great piece of driving by Raleigh as well to hang on to that race car, keep it underneath him, and not give us a yellow. Charles, we are having some great racing here. For second as Raleigh returns the favor. They're together again off of turn number 2.
And the great racing you're seeing here is that it's about to get ugly for those two. They go off the track, and that may have been a little bit of payback there.
Yeah, I'm thinking it might have been. I don't like to speculate too much, but Raleigh was all 4 tires off down in the grass, and that gives second spot now to Dalton England, and Sizemore going to get sideways after trying to get back around for second spot, and Dustin Sizemore going to slip back to the 5th position now on the racetrack. Your leader, though, is Trey Schmidt by a mile, 3.77 seconds, the distance between first and second spot right now. The white flag's in the air, Charles, about a half a lap left to go. What a run here for your heat race leader, and probable winner as we come into turn number 3 for the final time, Trey Schmidt in the 12 machine.
Yeah, definitely. You said he was someone to keep an eye on, and he does take the checkered flag, and he will get the win here in heat race number 2. And I want to point out, obviously you don't want to see a whole lot of cars get wadded up, but the good news is they're going to make it to the feature either way. We are going to go on into, I say that we're going into a B main, so I did not think, I figured we would take everyone, but B main is coming up here, so I stand corrected. We may be sending some people home, but I don't think so with a couple of our drivers like Mason Hannigan and Scott Bargoff not making the call. I think everyone should make it.
Yeah, I would suspect you're right there, Charles. We may just be running this dude here for some position on the racetrack, and you can't be upset when it comes to more seat time in these wingless sprint cars. They are absolutely a handful to drive. Just as much horsepower as those 360 wing sprint cars, but without the added downforce. These cars, like I said, they're absolutely a handful. It's phenomenal, especially that second heat race. You had cars, not quite clear on the slide jobs there. A lot of contact there in that second heat race. I don't want to call it dirty driving, but there was a lot of bumping and banging and rubbing, and just some great driving there by all those drivers to not have a yellow in that 10-lap heat race.
Yeah, we definitely had some great racing. And, I give props to the people that still race these cars. I won't touch them unless it's to do donuts and have fun. But from where, iRacing first started with these particular cars to where we are now, you used to throw up a race and it would just be a complete caution fest. There'd be wrecks everywhere. To see that they can beat and bang and have some good racing now with these cars and not see that just goes to show how much these drivers have improved since day one of iRacing Dirt coming out.
Absolutely, man, and the handling model I think has gotten much better. I don't have a lot of seat time in these cars, but just the few races that I have attempted to make, it's really improved. And like you said, just the caliber of driver all around in this division has really improved. It's made for some great racing. It's been fun to watch, and I'm really excited. We got 12 laps here in the B main. Looks like we are getting ready to take the green flag off of turn number 4. The pace is picking up a little bit. Here we go, Charles. We got 12 laps to go, and we are underway off of turn number 4.
And interesting here, I want to point out is when I said everyone making it, if I recall, in that second heat race, Dalton England, did he not finish in second place?
He did indeed finish in second place there in the second heat race, so I'm not sure exactly what's up with the B main here. We'll see how things go, but nonetheless, England right now running in the third spot. Your leader is the pole sitter. That's the 63 of Clifford Driscoll. Right now, he's got a challenger to the outside as Stoudinger looks to the top side in that 54 machine. What a run for Stoudinger off the outside of turn number 2.
And we'll have to get confirmation, but I believe, from the way it looks anyway, only the leaders advanced to the feature. But I also want to point out, as I'm sure you can see it, up on the high side, it is getting very, very dusty up on the top of this track.
It's also getting really, really close to the outside edge here, the back straightaway at Lernerville Speedway. I tell you what, though, these boys are putting those big right rears on the cushion and letting her ease. We come back into turn number 1 with Stoudinger, your race leader. He is absolutely on the ragged edge, right around the berm of the back straightaway. And you got to trust not only yourself, but you're putting a lot of trust in a lot of different things here when you're headed down the back straightaway in excess of 100 miles an hour. I'm looking at the speed here. Coming into turn number 4, Stoudinger at about 111 miles an hour. He's really got to trust himself and his machine to stick to the outside of the racing surface. You know, a lot of time and effort goes into the setup on these machines. These drivers and these teams really have a lot of time and effort and research really invested into making these race cars handle their best around the racetrack.
Yeah, it definitely is. They spent hours and hours perfecting everything. It's not like you jump on, Xbox and play Forza. It's not a kid's game. You have to test. You have to tune. You go into private sessions, and it costs money to do these private sessions. So, it's a lot of work, time, and money spent in these. And you're seeing why with the clean racing that we're having here with 4 laps to go out of the 12 here in the B main. We have been caution-free so far, and it's not like they're spread apart. There's some racing going on. They're just keeping it nice and clean.
Oh, absolutely. You drop back to 5th spot on the racetrack. You're looking at 5, 6, 7, and 8. Man, they are right there next to one another, nose to tail, side by side, coming into the corners. And like I said, these wingless sprint cars, they are completely sideways on entry. It is absolutely insane how you just toss these cars into the corner. You don't have that wing on top to keep the thing nice and planted and stable and stuck to the ground. It's slipping, it's sliding, you're steering right, you're steering left, you're counter steering, you're bringing it, trying to keep the car as straight as possible and maintain that slide. It is really impressive what these drivers can do. And I tell you what, a guy who's impressing me right now is your race leader. In fact, your race winner. That is Alex Stoudinger in that race winning car by, almost 3 seconds the gap at the start-finish line for Stoudinger.
Yeah, he'll take up the win here in the B. And, of course, looks like Dustin Sizemore out. We're going to go into a bit of a warm-up here for about 3 minutes. So we're going to step away, get hydrated. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Get this race out there. Get all your friends, family, and whoever else you can out watching it. We will be right back here in just under 3 minutes with your feature event coming up here, again, in just under 3 minutes. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and I kind of like this camera angle here as the static cameras. They are rolling on to the track here for your feature race. Again, this will be a 40-lap event. It's going to say 45, so we'll go ahead and call it 45 once they get rolling. But we're getting the word that they are going to do a 4-wide salute for the fans here to kick off this season. So definitely, we know they can go 4 wide. That's a given.
Yeah, this racetrack very, very wide, and we've seen some really good racing so far. It's still, I'm impressed because anybody watching knows how hard these things are to keep straight. These race cars do not want to drive straight, and you got to think about a couple of things here as they get ready to do the 4 wide. You got BJ here on race control trying to get everybody lined up here for just a second. But if you bump somebody, you do that too many times, you get a safety rating affected here.
Yeah, and to the show, just like it would be in real life racing as well, if they do a salute like this, you have to do this without bringing out a caution. If you do bring out a caution, it eats away at the laps in the race. So you have to be very careful as to not cause that caution.
Absolutely. So the green flag going to come out here. You see the cars spreading out on the racetrack. They're going to get ready to go 4 wide. For all of you watching here with us on the Virtual Racing Network, we thank you so much for tuning in. The season opener here, I believe it is, for the World of Thunder wingless 360 sprint cars here at Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania. It's been a fantastic racing evening so far. We had some great heat races, Charles, full of some really close action. A definite 2-groove racetrack with plenty of room in the middle. Somebody brave enough to stick the nose in there, they can make something happen.
They definitely could. And so we're just changing the camera angles up here to get you a good shot of these cars. But 4 wide salute to the fans. So if you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button, share it out there, subscribe. This is why we do it. If it wasn't for the fans out there tuning in, there'd really be no point in us being here as announcers. We're here to tell you the story of what's going on here. So without the fans, there'd be no story to tell.
Man, I like that. That's really poetic there, Charles. Look at you being all poetic on us tonight. No, it's true though. Without people watching, and we do thank each and every one of you who are watching here this evening with us at the Virtual Racing Network. Of course, we love bringing you some of the best in both iRacing here with VRN, and of course, Charles, you do a lot of great work with real racing with Race on Texas. I know you're excited to get the 2020 season underway. I am as well. But it's really cool to get things kicked off here with some iRacing during the ever shrinking off season. Like I think I had January is the 1 month out of the year that I haven't been to the racetrack.
I recall just not too long ago, I was talking to you, and you're like, I will enjoy this break. It seems like it was just a week later. You're like, you got any racing to broadcast? Let's go. He's ready to get back in the booth again.
How things change in a week, am I right? It's true, though. I am always excited to take a break. Just step back, breathe. Of course, Jackie and I, my wife, are expecting a child here in about 12 days is the due date. So my world is about to change immensely. We're very excited. But, yeah, it's always great to watch some really good racing. And I hope the folks at home who are watching here with us this evening are enjoying what they're seeing. I hope they're excited about it. I know I am. We're getting ready to go green, I think, this time off of turn number 4. The field bunched up nice and tight. Charles, 40 laps the distance. Here we go off of turn number 4.
Green flag is out, and Tiernan getting a huge jump. We'll see how long it takes.
We've got 3 of them off the top of turn number 1, Charles. It's real slick on the outside of the first set of corners. The yellow flag will come out.
Let's go back to the camera here and take a look at the replay. And going back about 30 seconds on the camera, we are still pacing. That is how quickly this caution came out. As looks like Dustin Sizemore going to be involved, Billy Raleigh involved. Not sure who the other car involved was. And there goes the 79 off the track. And again, not sure. Dustin Sizemore may not have been involved in it, but several cars, like you said, going off the track. As we are going to regroup them, restack them, and try it again. I'm curious if they're going to go double file or single file here for the restart.
And everybody, I think, was just anticipating a little bit more grip left on the top side, and it ain't there. The track is really slicked up, especially right through the middle of the racetrack. I'm looking at the bottom of the first set of corners, and man, it is just shiny down there on the inside. That was a haymaker of a slider as well, thrown by Chance Sikowski right there on the opening circuit, getting underneath Trey Schmidt, your leader right now. Is James Tiernan. Second is Sikowski there in that 019 machine. Of course, Schmidt third in the 12 car. Wade Lamar and Dalton England right now rounding out the top 5. Charles, it looks like we are going to double file them. We are re-racked and restacked, getting ready to turn it loose one more time.
And, you point out while we're getting ready to take the green flag, you look at someone like Dalton England, 5th place right now. He's finished second in his heat. But because of the B main, he's back in 5th position. So had he just gone straight from his heat to the feature, he would probably be somewhere 2nd or 3rd. But he's back just a little bit because of having to run through that B main as we get the green flag. And it's going to be a good battle, I think, between Tiernan and Sikowski and Schmidt. I think those three are going to be the ones we're going to have to watch here tonight.
I think you're right, Charles. That's the second set of corners in a row that Trey Schmidt has thrown that haymaker slider down to the very bottom, almost into the grass off of turn number 4 to take over the second spot from Chance Sikowski. It looks like Schmidt losing speed right in the middle of the corner. You watch him here on the bottom of turn number 3. They're putting that left front up on the berm of the bottom of turns 3 and 4, and Schmidt now the second spot, Sikowski in 3rd. But here comes Wade Lamar. You were talking about a guy to watch early on. Lamar's making his way up through the field right now in that number 6 machine.
Yeah, he's definitely someone to watch. And speaking of watching, the 7 of Sikowski and the 12 of Schmidt almost getting into each other as both of them are trying to run the grass. Well, quite frankly, there's not enough of it down there for 2 cars, and they just about found that out as they almost tangled down on the bottom. They get separated now. But some good battle going on about to 8th place with the Steele, Driscoll, and Styles as well.
And some huge sliders being thrown up front for the second spot. I'm actually looking backwards from the leader right now on my screen here. I'm watching from the front of James Tiernan's car. He's out front. We got another yellow coming out. But I tell you what, man, Schmidt and Sikowski are just throwing slider after slider. It is some fantastic racing, folks. If you don't like this, you should probably watch a different video right now because those two are putting on a show.
They are indeed, as we go back to watch what happened here for the caution to come out. Going to be from the number 22, Kyle Atkinson. And I'm not sure what he did. He was running fairly smooth here, it looks like. And right there just drives it off the side of the track. And not sure if that actually was the reason for the caution or not. But he is the only one that we do see off the pace at the time of the caution. So either way, the caution is out as we can't see the whole track. Tiernan's still out front. Schmidt, Kozlowski, Lamar, and England, your top 5 after currently 16 laps completed of the actual 40-lap race. But we'll say 45 just because it makes it look easier for everyone out there watching.
Yeah, we got, looks like 16 complete. We're working lap number 17 right now, of course. In this race, looks like caution laps are going to count for us here. So, like I said, James Tiernan out front has led this thing from the drop of the green flag. Just 2 cautions so far. I'm really impressed, Charles. And you've mentioned this before, especially with like this particular division, modifieds as well. Those things are a handful. The midgets, of course, I think when they first came out, it was a bit of a crash fest there in that division. And now you watch midget racing, some of the best I've seen, period. Of course, with the Chili Bowl going on right now, some real-world midget racing happening down up there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But this class really has come a long way, Charles. We're double filed again. Looks like we're getting ready as the pace picks up to take the green off of turn number 4. And we're back underway with 17, now 18 laps complete.
It is indeed. We got Tiernan losing to Trey Schmidt. Schmidt going to try to get him. It's side by side. We told you it was good racing. They were side by side coming down the backstretch, and I don't think that battle's done just yet.
Well, we got another yellow on the racetrack, Charles. It looks like the car running in third place. Sikowski losing it right there in the top of turn number 1. He comes in just a little bit too hot, and the machine sliding out from underneath him goes all the way off the track. And unfortunately for Chance, he is now at the back of the pack.
He is indeed. As we go to the aerial cam, indeed off the track. Good news, he's off the track, not out of the race, thanks to not having a wall back there. Nothing probably broke on the car.
Yeah, that is an interesting point that I had not thought of until just now. That is something for sure that some of these drivers are probably very thankful for, is that leaving the racetrack doesn't mean leaving the race. If you can keep it under control on the downward slope back there, the backside of that banking, get it out of the grass and back up onto the racetrack, you can get back in this thing. As another haymaker of a slider was thrown by Trey Schmidt right on. You got to watch that 12 car, man, especially I see here in race control, we are going to single file restarts. We're right at the halfway mark. It's going to be 21 complete this time by. It is going to be no doubt, to me, in my mind anyway, that there will be a slider thrown in turn number 1. I would be surprised if we don't see the 12 car of Trey Schmidt drop all the way to the grass and try to take the top spot.
Yeah, I definitely think we will as well. And we did get a word from race control as well over on my end that that caution we couldn't figure out who it was for was actually the 63 of Clifford Driscoll. That was actually the one that brought out the caution. As the green flag comes back out, we're riding on board with Wade Lamar on his roll bar here. And I think we're going to see some really good racing here. And that slide job, I think, is coming very soon.
I was really surprised that I didn't see it happen right on the drop of the green flag as we're looking ahead from, looks like Lamar here towards the top 2 cars. You got another caution flag coming out, unfortunately, folks. So this one may come down to a 2 or 3 lap shootout here if this happens too many more times there, Charles.
It very well could, as it's going to be Mitch Stiles that gets collected as we go back and take a look. I saw about 2 or 3 cars kind of tangoing down there at the bottom of the track. I'm just not sure exactly what happened, but we'll find out here. Looks like Mitch Stiles just slides into, I believe that's the 05 that he gets into. We got a little Valvoline on the side of it. Not sure who it is. I don't see an 05. There it is. Brandon Steele. He slides up into him and just kind of gets caught up into him, and we bring out the caution. But this is good news if you're James Tiernan. At the moment, he's still the lead, and laps are ticking away. However, it doesn't give you a chance to pull away from this field at all.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. You don't get a chance to even get a rhythm really underneath you. I don't know about these drivers, but I know when I'm behind the wheel instead of behind the microphone, it takes me a couple of laps to just find a rhythm on the racetrack, and it's probably one of the reasons I'm never up towards the top of the field. But it's definitely a good time, and it is interesting to see how quickly these guys just fall right back into it. You know, you have to feed the power on very easily into these race cars, and it's really, really interesting to see how these drivers can handle these things as we get ready. It looks like we might be having a double file restart this time here, Charles. Back to double file.
Back into double file we go. Lap 28 fixing to be underway. As the pace truck does dive off, and up there for a minute I thought it was going to come back on, but it does dive off. We're about to start lap 28, 27 complete when they get to the line, and just like that, the 98 of Tiernan gets a good jump, and almost too good as he almost goes off the edge of the track.
And we do have one leave the speedway there, Charles. I thought I saw a yellow flag. It does look like we're going to keep them rolling here as Schmidt out in front. Now you got a new race leader as we cross lap number 28 complete, and Tiernan gets right back around him on the bottom of turn number 1. Schmidt going to cross him back up down the back straightaway, Charles. That's 3 lead changes, I should say, in one set of corners. Schmidt with a problem through the middle. Here comes Tiernan back around on the bottom, right through the grass. is the 98 of James Tiernan. What a run for your race leader.
Yeah, Smith and Tiernan battling it out extremely hard here. I'm not sure who's going to win it between the two, or if them two are going to get collected together and maybe give this win to Wade Lamar. We'll definitely be watching to find out, cover every single lap. But the battle for the lead is the one to watch, as Tiernan has it against Smith, definitely wants it. But it seems like whoever's up there in the lead can't hang on to it between the two of them. But now it looks like they've sorted out as a caution does come out once again.
Yeah, just as soon as we get them spread apart a little bit there, Charles, it does look like the yellow flag coming back out. I'm really intrigued as to what maybe the setups these guys might be running, these drivers may be running, look like, because it looks like the cars are really loose on entry, and then all of a sudden through the middle they get extremely snug. You know, normally you'd see these cars with the right front, or with the front end counter steered to the right. These drivers have the wheels to the left pretty much the entire time. They're down in the grass trying to get the right rear in some of that moisture down on the bottom. You can see the top side completely slick. You've got to go all the way to the berm, and that can be treacherous here at Lernerville Speedway. Some of these drivers up front running right around the inside of this racetrack, trying to get that right rear in the moisture. They're putting the left front down in the grass, and that's really got to affect the feel of the race car.
It definitely does. You can even see it down at the angle we're at. It's the only spot that really doesn't look like it's been used and abused here on this track. We'll actually go to the aerial view real fast here, and you can really see it. That, like you said, that bottom groove, it's right there above the grass, is, it looks like some great real estate where you want to be. The rest of this track, not so much.
Well, and what's interesting about it is if you're looking at the very bottom of turns 1 and 2, it's actually kind of a dip. It's not, even with the banking of the racetrack, it actually dips as they hang the left front off down, and then on turns 3 and 4, the entry has a little bit of a dip into it, but there's actually a berm on the inside of turn number 4 that these guys are trying to get that left front on and plant the right rear as we get ready to go one more time. Charles, we're going to have 35 laps complete when we take the green flag this time off of turn number 4.
And not only 35 complete, we will have 10 laps to go once we take the green flag. These last 10 laps are going to be crucial, as they're going to go by very, very fast. About 4 laps a minute. Green flag's out. Tiernan off to a good start. Smith right behind him, but they're all right there taken to the bottom. And Tiernan not getting through it nearly as well as Smith. Smith's going to take the lead.
Yeah, Trey Schmidt going to make the move off of turn number 2. Here comes Tiernan, though, trying to slide him off the bottom of turn number 4. And we've got one on the outside. It's Sikowski after leaving the racetrack early on. Chance Sikowski looking to the outside as Tiernan all the way into the grass, and he's going to slip well back into the field. Charles, that was a big one right there.
Yeah, it looked like he got a little too much into the grass, and it slowed him down. He got caught in it. And now that is news, as Sadowski is going to be up front. Wade Lamar there, and Smith going to be falling back to third, so he is the furthest he's been back as well. With 8 laps to go, going to be 7 at the line. Just like that, it all changes as to who's up front and who has a chance to win this thing.
Yeah, it looks like the top side may have come back around. There goes Schmidt off the outside of turn number 1, Charles, and we're going to wad him up there in turn 2. We may get a yellow there on that one. Looked like Trey Schmidt just trying to move up to the top to run down Chance Sikowski, and yeah, the yellow flag going to come back out. Schmidt just losing it, hangs the right rear over the outside of turn number 2, and that was all she wrote there, Charles.
It was. We'll go back in and take a look. That's going to give us about 3 laps as he goes for a wild ride there off the edge of the track. So possibly about 2, maybe 3 laps to go and we take the green. And I'm not sure. We do have, of course, even though caution laps do count, they are working on that. We do have the option for a green light checkered. I believe they have that enabled for this series. I'm not sure, but hopefully they do, and this race will end under a green flag condition.
Yeah, that would be nice. We'll have to see here. We are going to be cutting it close as we just completed lap number 41. We're working 42 right now. These drivers going to have about 3 laps to go. Once the green flag comes back out, Sikowski once again your race leader with the mistake there by Schmidt, a rare mistake I might add from the driver of the 12 machine off the top of turn number 2. Saw Schmidt trying to run down on the bottom. You saw Tiernan trying to do the same thing. Excuse me. And James got all the way down into the grass. It sucked the car off the racetrack just about. And when he got back onto the racetrack, Charles, there wasn't anything he could do. He was all the way back to about 7th on the racetrack, and he's now running all the way back up into 3rd. We're going to be coming to a 2-lap shootout. It looks like we are going to be completing lap number 43 this time off of turn number 4. And look who's on the outside of that front row. It's Wade Lamar. Charles, you told us to watch him, and you said that with good reason, my friend. We're off of turn number 4.
We are indeed. Green flag out. It's going to be a battle here. Not who I thought was going to be battling for the lead, but definitely a battle indeed. As we'll just have to kind of wait and see how it plays itself out as the caution is going to come out once again. And that will send us into overtime. We won't go back and find out what the caution was for. But immediately I saw the overlays there jump to 3 to go. So we are officially into overtime now. So this was a 40-lap race. Now it's going to be, or 45 technically if you had it, but it's going to be 47 laps now. So we're going to restack them again and go once again for a 2-lap shootout.
Looks like James Grace being given an EOL penalty there. There were some cars that got together coming into turn number 1. I saw Tiernan go all the way down to the bottom. He was getting ready for that haymaker slider there in turns 1 and 2. Of course, your race leader at the time was Sikowski. Looks like Tiernan being credited with that top spot right now as he's out in front of the line of sprint cars here for the World of Thunder USAC Wingless 360 Sprint Car feature. And looks like Sikowski just feeling out the top side in that 7 machine there as trying to find the line, trying to figure out where to plant that right rear on the restart. Sikowski had a good run into turn number 1. It just wasn't good enough. Tiernan sneaking by on the bottom, Charles. It looks like we're going to try this green-white checkered thing one more time. As the field gets single file here, we'll get ready to go off of turn number 4.
Well, let's see a few cautions here in the feature, as we'll bring that up real fast. So you see 7 cautions, actually caution laps 22. Of course, you can't count all of that because some of that, well, I guess technically it wasn't under caution. So yeah, 22 laps of caution out of the 45 scheduled, as we are back to racing once again. Green flag is out in this field. Half of what it was earlier is right now Tiernan and Sikowski out front. Those are your front 2, followed by Lamar. They definitely want the win here, but right now this belongs to Tiernan.
Yeah, Tiernan, again, both front tires down in the grass in turn number 3. Going to hang on to the lead right now as it looks like the bottom side, just the better way around here, Charles. And Sikowski giving him a run for his money on the outside, though. Going to lose a little bit of ground coming off of turn number 2. Looks like this going to be the checkered flag off of turn number 4. Give it up for the 98 of James Tiernan. Chance Sikowski going to be across the line in 2nd. And Wade Lamar going to round out the podium in 3rd place.
Oh, definitely some good racing. We'll give these guys a minute to get over in Discord to try to chat with them. Obviously, you'll be heading out because you got to get to work tomorrow, and it is going on midnight here, 11:30. But these guys put on a heck of a show. We're glad to have you back in the booth, too.
Man, thanks so much for having me out, Charles. It was an absolute blast. I felt a little rusty there at the beginning, but I feel like it's kind of like riding a bike. You don't ever forget how to do it, man. It's always a good time. Thanks so much for having me, and I look forward to the next one.
Definitely do. It is like riding a bike. You may not forget how to ride it. You may forget where you put your bike, but you don't forget how to ride it when you find it. So we will be right back here in just a few moments with your top 3, assuming we have them in Discord. We're hopefully we did send it out. So we'll be right back with your post-race show in just a few moments. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we have two of our top three drivers here. We'll see if Wade Lamar pops in here in just a moment, but if not, we're just going to start with second place. Our scoring shows the 019, but the custom number being the number 7 of Chance. Chance, you put on a good show here tonight. Just an outstanding run for you. Season opener, you're looking forward to the rest of the season after having such a good run here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good time. I just made too many mistakes and throughout the night that really put me behind the 8 ball, so I was always, kind of chasing. I was leading that heat race and hit that wall going down the front stretch and just about sent it off. So I know James got into me there, and I mean, you can't make mistakes like that when you're racing with, pro guys like James. So, if I can minimize that, then I think I got a shot to run with these guys. So.
Definitely, based on your performance here tonight, we are looking forward to this. Had a few cautions in the feature, but overall, a good, clean night of racing. Looking forward to this season. Probably, with the cautions, the cleanest racing we've seen here in the 360 non-wing. Not sure if you run the wing sprint cars compared to these, but for the ones out there that are watching that may not have been on iRacing or never been to watch non-wing, how much more difficult are these cars out there handling at a track like this compared to their winged counterpartners?
They're completely different. I mean, I like driving the non-wings more. I've driven a non-wing sprint car in real life before, and I don't know. I've always kind of clung to it, even though I grew up in a wing sprint car area. But on the game, I mean, they're completely different. You could have a different style of throttle control and car control for sure, as opposed to when I feel like in a wing car, it's just you're hammered down, and qualifying is a lot more important in a wing car. Obviously, it's important in a non-wing car, but they're not easy cars to drive. So
definitely not an easy car to drive at all. But you showed them how good you are behind the wheel of the thing here tonight. You got second place. And, of course, before we let you go, any shout-outs you want to give and any car or sponsors in that car you need to thank?
That's funny. I just started up my new team here, Bullet Sim Sport. I ended up leaving my old team, so I guess I really don't have any sponsors, just that. So appreciate it. Thanks for the broadcast, and look forward to next week.
All right.
Also, good raise to James, because he's a hell of a wheelman.
Definitely is. Congrats on the new team and the second place here with the new team. And, of course, that does bring us to James, the number 98, your race winner here tonight. You get the win for the season opener. Obviously, it's going to put you at the top of the point standings going into next week. First and foremost, again, as always, congrats on the win. But having the win, being at the top, does it give you add any more pressure going into next week, knowing that you're the leader and you're kind of defending that points lead next week?
If you asked me that question about 6 months ago, I probably would have said yes. But at this point, I really do like being in the lead. I think it makes me feel less pressure than having to come back from behind and try to beat someone. Yeah, I kind of like it at this point. Being top dog is kind of a good feeling. It means I'm doing everything I need to right. That race was a little sloppy on my parts. I missed the bottom real bad. Tried to run it through the grass, and that just did not work for me. So it was a little sloppier than I like. But yeah, I like being up there. I like winning the first opener of the season. So really happy with that result.
Well, you did it, and just a bad fast car out there. Just give us your thoughts on this particular track. Obviously, the only track that doesn't have walls. Running all the way on the high side compared to all the way on the bottom. Which one was really the line you needed here to run? And which one would you have liked to run? Was it the same line?
For the most part, non-wing cars like that outside line, but I have not run this track enough. It was not on the pro kind of list there. Was not came out after the Pro Series was done. So not a ton of experience. I think this is only my third or fourth race here in non-wing cars. So still kind of learning. Kind of followed Trey Schmidt's lead. He showed me I was done, so I followed him in the inside, and then that kind of worked for me the rest of the night after that. So overall, I'd say I'd like to have run the outside. I think if I can set my car up better for it, I think it'll be the quicker line for the most part. But I just made the bottom line work, and it kind of carried me to the victory. I kind of nearly threw it away, but then worked my way back up, and then caught that lucky caution with the double file. So it's exactly what I needed.
Well, they say it's better to be lucky than good sometimes. I personally think it's a 50-50 split. You're good enough to be there, and then when you needed it, luck was on your side as well. And when you put the two together, that equals a win. That's what you got here tonight. Anyone on that car you need to thank, or any sponsors you need to thank as well?
Absolutely. I hope you got some time. So first and foremost, I'd like to thank Ergot Real Estate. He's my title sponsor. He really does a lot of work, not even just through the sim, but outside. Great partner to have with me. I'd also like to thank Catch Fence Apparel. You can check them out on Facebook. They got a lot of dirt-themed apparel that you can go buy. Over the Wall Photography, again, if you want to buy some posters, it's exactly like it says, it's photography. Fairbury Mortgage kind of helps out with Ergot Real Estate. So if you guys are in the Indianapolis area, be sure to check out Ergot Real Estate. I'd like to thank BS Air. Again, one of the friends kind of helped sponsor us, as well as recently Racecraft One. They kind of help people who are trying to get into racing to learn more about it. You know, they have some really killer people there on staff. So one of them is Robbie Unzer, the other one's Chase Austin. If you guys don't know, look them up. They've been there, done a lot of stuff. So really good stuff going on there. And lastly, I'd like to thank Motorsports Beat. And lastly, I'd like to thank you guys. Thank you, Roll the Thunder, for putting this show on. It's a privilege to be here, and thank you guys for announcing, because it makes the races so much more fun when you got people announcing that kind of stuff.
Well, definitely, we're glad to be here, especially for the season opener. And again, congrats on the win here tonight. I'm sure we'll see you in Victory Lane again. This will probably not be the only time we're talking to you. So again, congrats on that. And that is just about going to wrap it up here for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. As we want to thank everybody for showing up. Fortunately, we don't have Wade Lamar to talk to for third place. That being said, make sure you tune in tomorrow night, of course, for the Northwest Truck Series season finale from Homestead, Miami. Should be a good race there as well. And we should have some new overlays. We're going back to the old overlays, but we have revamped them just a little bit. As these overlays not complete yet, and we need a complete overlay. So be checking for that, and we'll see you tomorrow night at the racetrack.